I told you this guy's a genius.
Self-proclaimed, maybe.
Well, as long as it works for him.
Exactly my point.
Awesome. The smartest coffee in the world.
Alright, sometimes I wish I could put it on my head, but I would just feel so stupid, like that girl from the camera. I just wish I could put it on my head, because then I could show you exactly what. Maybe I'm gonna do it at one point, but at this stage it's easier to just stick with it like this. No, I would feel like how she called from the Grinch, the movie with Jim Carrey, Terry Sue or something, or Lucy Liu, no, it's somebody else. When she wears that outfit, yeah, I just don't. I mean, there's probably a cool way of doing this, and maybe I'm just overly sensitive about looking pretty, which makes no sense because I don't really have long hair. Alright, now let's just get away from Christopher and move towards, let's make some coffee. So I've made coffee in this one, but there's already sugar in it, which means I want this to properly dissolve, which is why I'm gonna take this here and I'm gonna put, this is too small for my taste. I mean, too small. This should be a bit higher for my taste. You can say I have no idea, just have to get something. Now this is right, so I have enough hot water and I'm making the most of the energy, right? So I'm just trying to be smart about the way I do things. Just have to get something else. So yeah, all my fears are my own. You've heard me talk about things, and I haven't told these things to anyone that could look me in the face or that could say something to it for quite a while now. Everything I have, I basically just share it with the world, and who wants to can look at it. And that's how I manage to push through, because I can share my worries, but I carry them on my own. To me, it just feels good to share myself with the world, and anybody who has a problem with that, well, right, it's their problem, and it keeps them away from me. Because if they don't want to be mentioned in my content, and they're afraid to do things that I find noteworthy because it pisses me off, and that's usually then when I talk about it. I also talk about nice things sometimes. Then, alright, how much? Of course, if I take less, now you adjust the heat. It was first, you know, the heat settings goes to max, which is 6 then, and I had it on 5, and now I turn it down to 3, because once it's boiling, you don't have to put in that much heat anymore. You know, some people, they always go to the maximum heat because they're impatient. I've learned that sometimes it's best. I'm gonna put in 2. Why? Because then I have another one for later. Maybe just a bit more. Now this is a fairly simple recipe for a coffee. This is like Arabian style. And even if I have already chosen a bride, I don't have to be, if I want, let's say I'm in love with a woman and I want this woman and I think that she's in love with me, like deeply in love. And I want this woman to take responsibility for that love so I don't have to run after her all my life. Then sometimes it's better to simply act like you don't like her. It makes sense. But, time will show whether your love was honest and pure or whether it was just nice words. That's the thing, if love is honest, it will find a way, blah, blah, blah. We've all heard it. It's from the Avatar series. Avatar Roku says it. There's probably truth in this, but it's still quite annoying because, what do you mean finds a way? I want it now. Yeah, but that's probably not gonna happen. So, I'm not here to make everything easy for people. I've realized that already. Or you could better say, I'm making it fairly easy for people. I say, leave me the fuck alone. I'm busy. I have stuff to do in this life. And you don't get it. So I will stop explaining. Just watch. Yeah, important lesson is don't leave stuff standing on the stove for too long. I've put this on the stove just with the water, just boil over, and then have fun getting that off it. Alright, at the same time, because I can do multitasking, good job. I will prepare tea. Black tea, the Vata mixture, which contains sweetwood, cinnamon, and coriander, and other things. But also ginger. Because I'm not a great fan of, I mean, I do drink water, but I prefer drinking tea. And the funny thing is, when I was in Jordan, we went into one of these desert tents. I mean, it seems like a lifetime since I went traveling abroad. I mean, the most recent thing I've been is, I don't know when, maybe last year, or no, maybe almost 2 years ago, when I was in Amsterdam. Well, yeah, you could say I've done my traveling. I don't know what that means. I cannot say anymore. I can't say that I'm a great fan of flying, but I'm a great fan of discovering new places. So, I do like traveling. I would still go to Africa, but I'm not sure if I can afford it, or if it will ever happen again, simply for whatever reason. Because, you know, I'm just trying to do my job. And if my feeling is guiding me to go to Africa, well, I'll go there. Black tea, ginger, sweetwood. You know, if you want a bit of cinnamon, because it opens the heart. You know, now you see it starts bubbling. Alright, you can stir it a little. Yeah, you can put this a bit on the side. But generally, you know, this should be a bit higher so that it can like boil all the way up. So at one point I'm probably gonna get a different one. And then I can just use this to heat up water. Which I've... So normally also the coffee powder that you use for that would be finer. But you would have cardamom in it. It would be really fine. Like basically as fine as flour. Wow. Like, it's probably going to be a challenge. I'm just trying to get it. And normally you would bring it to a boil 2 or 3 times. Just look up how to make Arabian mocha, right? I mean, that's the easiest way. Or you just do it DIY. Wow. This I just got from a Turkish shop. I mean, it's a completely different way of making coffee than just turning on a machine. I mean, already this one, to some people would be too much effort, if you know what I mean. They just want to press buttons. You know, I like to put in the work. You know, I like to fill the coffee in there. I like to grind the beans myself. I like to add the spices myself. You know, you can already buy... Wow, you see? You know, that can happen fairly easily. But it's alright. I think it's done. Alright. So also, if you do have sugar and you don't just want to eat it, because you know, I can do binge eating, right? If I have things at home that are good for binge eating, I'm gonna do it. You know, I'm not gonna buy a packet of chips and then keep it for the other day. You know, if I buy a packet of chips, I'm just gonna eat it and then it's gone. And I do the same thing with peanut butter, but I learned to restrain myself with a lot of things, and I also restrain myself with psychedelics. That's actually not true. You know, if I have rapé, I'm gonna use it until it's gone. Because otherwise it also loses a lot of its power. Alright, I don't know why I didn't want to do these anymore. Because I actually liked them. It's just that you feel like you have to do something specific in order for people to like you on here. But the thing is, I just have to be myself. So I also shouldn't worry too much about it. Right, now you can wait until the coffee sifts down to the bottom. I don't know, I used to think coffee made me angry. But I think I've learned that I was already angry. You know, that's how projection works. You know, I used to think this is basically now an Americano, which is technically an espresso that you stretch out with hot water. Alright. Now I'm gonna make the tea because that needs at least 3 hours to be ready. Yeah. I'm just gonna show you. I'm definitely gonna blend it because for some reason I just don't think it looks very tasty. So I'm just gonna keep it. I mean, I don't have to show you how to blend a soup, right? I thought about slacklining today. I'm not sure about that one either. So for now, you know, I'm just still living in the hope, right? I continue to record content for YouTube despite the recent warning that I received because I screwed up a little with one of my screen sharing sessions, which is why, you know, don't hide things. Just stop doing things, you know. It's like, you know, don't hide the fact that you're doing pornography. Just stop, you know. Just stop, because then you can be honest about it. You don't even have to talk about it anymore. You don't have to say all the time, yeah, I stopped now. No, I mean, all you gotta do is just stop. Right? Yeah, it's a bit watery, but it's okay. It has an acquired taste. That's it.